Hi guys, how's it going? It's Clarice, and today I am going to show you how to do violets. Someone had asked in one of the previous videos if I could do violets, and even though they're a pretty simple flower to do, I figured let's try and tackle this. So here, this is just my scrap of paper where I did the poppies, and then I kind of did other stuff all around. I don't like to waste paper, so I figured when I'm trying things out, I can use it as scrap, not crap. So anyways, these are the different versions that I came up with, and I am going to try doing it again now live as I record this. And so for the colors, I'm going to stick with the purples, and I've just taken out, just so it's easier for me to know which colors I'm using, because this is on the go. These are really dark, so you can't really tell, but this is like a purple, this is a bright red, this is like a foresty green, and then this is like a dark green. Yeah, sorry, you can't really see them, and I don't really know the names of them specifically, but what I will be doing is I'll be using the purple first and then kind of mixing it with the red to get that pinky purple look for the flowers. And yeah, for brushes, I'm using my Silver Black Velvet 4, and then I'm just using just a regular brush 8. So I'll use the 4 for the flowers itself, and then for the 8 for the leaves. And you know what? The center of the flowers are yellow, so I should pick a smaller brush just to kind of do the center, even though I could use the 4, but then I need to be cleaning it. So you know what? I'll use this Pentel brush of mine that I have. I think it's a small. I just need the tip really so it works. It'll work for the job. And so I lied to you. We also need a yellow. So I'm going to put that on the side. So yes. And let's not forget our paper towel. All right. Okay, so let's get started. To start off, I'll do the center, which is the yellow. So I'm just going to get a good amount of yellow going, and it's literally just a very tiny section of the yellow, kind of like 4 dots that I'm going to do. And I don't even know if you can see it on here because it's yellow and white and there's no color so far. But I'm just going to put in a little bit of water because the yellow is a little too dry. And now I'm going to go in with the number 4, and I will take my purple, which is this. I'm going to get a good amount of color on here while this brush is damp. And then using this, drawing from the center, I'm going to just make petals. So I just dipped my brush in some water so I can get a little more flow. And then I want to do 5 petals. And every time I do a petal, I'm just going to dip it in water so it gets a little lighter and we get that nice variation of color. And again, I will do the same thing here. You know what? It's probably easier if I just turn it around as I create the petals. I'm just trying to make sure I don't interfere with the camera as I do this. So here's number 4. And I want the dark color to the center. And not to worry if you don't have it in the center already, because we will be doing, I'll show you what in a few seconds. So this is fairly nice and wet. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going back into my purple, getting more color using the same brush, and I'm just going to dab in the center and have it spread, because the center is like super dark and it's like a nice velvety rich purple. And so you can just put that in there. And then what I'm going to do is, with the purple on my brush, I'm just going to get some of the red. I know this dirties the color, but I don't mind it too much. And I'm going to do that. And I don't quite like how that looks, so what I will do is I'm going to take my palette and I'll just mix the purple and the red on here. And once this is mixed, now I'm going to go in and touch some of that, this purpley red that I have on here. And I want to push the dark color down. Mixing more of the red in here because I can see that it's drying up. And I need to have more of this because I want that nice pinky purple look. So maybe I'll even do it on the sides instead. Pushing the dark color down at the center of the color, the flower, sorry. And just dabbing on some of that red purple at the top. Same here. And the key is just to make sure you have enough of dampness going on your painting so that it can swish around. And the grooves of these flowers, they're almost like little buttercups. So I'm trying to kind of get that. But yeah, it's also a loose flower, so don't go too crazy with it. And then for the other ones on the side, I'm just going to do a side one as well, just to show you what that would look like. I'm just using the same amount of color that I had previously, and I'm just doing petals that look like petals because it's in the background, and so it doesn't really need to be very dark. You can totally make it dark if you want to, and then just kind of take some purple and just dab a little bit on the insides. Where have you? Yep. So again, just for review, I'm going to do one more so you can see. So I'm dabbing the yellow first. Can you see? Yes, dabbing the yellow first. And it's fine if you have like another variation of yellow that might add some more variety, 2D to it. Then I'm taking my purple and I am going to create the petals. And in fact, you know what? A quick tip, since we want the darkness to be in the center, it's probably better to have us do the petals like this, like from the top to the center. And then this way we're dragging the color down as opposed to the top. If that makes any sense. And so I'm doing that again here. And see, I'm really liking how there's like a variation in the color happening here. So this is where the towel comes in handy. I feel like I used too much water here, so I'm just going to go and dab it. So this is dark, this is a little bit lighter, but it has hints of dark already in it. And then I'm just going to make the fifth petal. And even though these petals are individual, when you actually look at the flower, it almost looks like they're all together. So that's why I want to have it blend in and not have any white space between the petals, just to give it that look. And then, you know what? I'm just going to introduce another brush so I'm not mixing too much of losing too much of my purple. I'm going to get my red and my purple going. And then just use this to create another flower. And these are, again, these are fun to do because, again, they're so simple. And because they're like tiny flowers, you can kind of create a pretty pattern with them. And they're very loosely done as well. So again, you can kind of have fun with how you do it. So if you, I would say for reference, perhaps have a picture of the flowers so you can just have a look while you're doing it. But it's really not necessary if you know exactly what they look like because they're such cute little simple flowers. But again, if you feel like it would come in handy, then absolutely just do it. And just because I want to, I will do one more of these little like cute light ones here. So you're off to the side. And I would suggest just like going super loose so it's just like a hint of like a side petal or a side flower rather. And just get used to doing flowers like that because a lot of the flowers are fairly repetitive in terms of technique. And it's just a matter of creating, when you're trying to create like a bunch of them, you don't want them all to be like face up. So it's nice to have like loose ones on the side this way. And it creates for like a nice composition as well because some are light, dark, all these different things. So keep that in mind for your paintings. And I'm going to stop doing this just as soon as I feel satisfied. And I like to have my flowers touch so that the color seeps in from the flowers on the side. That's just me. All right, so I'm happy with what I have here. Can you see this? Just want to make sure. Okay. Yes, so I'm happy with what I have here, and I'm just going to use my greens now and complete this by adding the leaves. So for the leaves, I'm going to start off with the brownish green that I have going on, and I have my brush that's fairly wet, and I'm going to get some color from here. And their leaves are like huge round leaves. And they're quite dark. And so now using this, I'm going to just take some of my green and try and blend it in. In fact, now that I'm looking at it this way, I think it's better if we blend the brown and the green separately and then introduce it onto the paper, because then it would be a nicer green. So let me do that for the next leaf and we'll see the difference. I'm just gonna add more green. So I'm using, I'm not getting any more water, I'm just getting more color and spreading the green on here in waves. Because if you look at their leaves, there's like a partition in the middle and you can see like these perforated waves in between the sections. And so I'm trying to get that effect. And so that's what I did. So let's mix and see what kind of leaf we get if we mix the two colors. So using my palette that I have here, oops, wow. Yes, make sure that your brushes aren't lying on the side so they can roll onto your painting. Let's try and salvage what we have here. That's the best I can do right now. Okay, so mixing. I'm just going to mix it on the side here. Where's the dark? Yeah. So I kind of like what this green looks like. So if you can see it, it's right here. So I've mixed my brownie green with the dark green that I have, and I'm going to create another leaf just to show you what that would look like. And we still want to keep this looking like loose watercolor, even though the leaves can have a little more definition. Leaves, not leaves, leaves. That's what I meant. And then I'm taking the dark green, and using the dark green, I'm going to create the grooves that it has, perforated grooves. And here, and here, and here. And just making sure that the edges are good. All right, so these are the two different variations we got in leaves, if you can see. So I kind of like this one better. Not sure about you guys, but let's make another one just to sort of experiment and see what that would look like if I just kind of roughly did it without paying attention to mixing the greens or anything. If I had to do that again, how would it look? So making the oval shape, and then I'm going with my dark green, and I am giving it some shading. And then I continue giving it some shading. And then just for effect, I think to the edges I'll do extra dark here. I really like the dark and light effects that happen in watercolor. I don't know about you, but I find that it really adds so much depth to the image personally. So for instance, just in this painting, let me move this in case there's a shadow. You can see that I didn't give the outline here a dark border. I did it here, and this looks to be a little more emphasized in 3D than this version here. So once again, it's all about trial and error and experimenting and seeing what you can achieve and what effects you like. So for instance, now this one's dried. Again, we're just talking about the dark and light. You can go in here with your wet brush, just getting more of the purple. And even though it's not wet, you can still create like a darker center. And this might just add more, again, depth to your image. And you don't have to if you want a soft watercolor look, but that's just the beauty of watercolor. You can just get so many different effects. So it's really a preference of what you like and how you want things to be seen. Like over here, for me to go over this with the dark means that I'm covering some of the yellow. Like, do you want that? You might not really want that. But again, you don't have to have it throughout. You could just have hints of it here and there. It's because you want to emphasize and give it a little more 3D kind of look, so it just doesn't look flat. 3D, 2D rather. And yeah, this is kind of what you end up with. So yep, so this is my version of the violets. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have comments or questions about this technique or how I've done this, please feel free to make a comment below, or you can also interact with me on Facebook and on Instagram. And I believe the links are below. Yes, they are below as well. So, yep. Thanks so much for watching, guys. As always, if you find these tutorials useful, please subscribe. I love getting requests. So if you have any requests and I can do it, I would happily oblige. Thanks again for watching. Bye.